Nintendo just announced that the next major direct is in fact happening tomorrow. As per usual, there are a ton of leaks out there regarding the presentation and the pile just keeps growing. Which is why I waited until the very last minute to make sure that I could give you guys a full recap of all the leaks so far. And let me just say, there are some pretty big ones this time around. First of all, we've got to address the elephant in the room, Mario's 40th anniversary. The first major leak is one that fans of my channel should be expecting by now, and it comes from Switchforce, a YouTuber with an impressive leaking track record as of late. Now I'll be the first to admit that I was initially pretty skeptical of him, but after he got the last 3 direct dates completely right, I have nothing but confidence. After teasing us with all kinds of cryptic information, Switchforce dropped the bombshell on Wednesday, seemingly hinting at the reveal of the next 3D Mario game. He writes on Twitter, quote, "They buy the new systems for the mustache," end quote, with a photo of Mario attached. Now following the weeks of tweets about the Nintendo Direct, I would say that this guy pretty clearly knows something. So if I were to give it a confidence rating on the leakometer, I'd say I'm about 75% sure. But now that we've gotten the heaviest hitter out of the way, what else are people saying is gonna happen? No. Beyond this easily being the laziest fake leak I've seen since the Smash Ultimate era, I really have no idea why this caught so much traction. I mean, after years of criticism, Nintendo finally decided to stop making these redundant Mario games, and now fans think that they're honestly going to produce a collection of 3 of them? Not to mention how difficult it would be to get a DS game to look even remotely acceptable on Switch. I mean, with Mario 64, they just had to do some upscaling, but this would require an entire rework to even look decent, especially for a presumably $60 to $80 game. Also, this rumor comes to us from John Skinny, who doesn't exactly have the same reputation as someone like Switchforce or Nate the Hate. As far as I can tell, his big claim to fame was that he accurately guessed some details about the Switch 2 before its reveal. But I wasn't able to find a good source online that specifies what specifically those details were. And I mean, really, how hard was any of this to guess? What is up, guys? It's me, back with another leak. Now, I have heard from an industry insider that the Switch 2 is actually going to be bigger.
6 months later.
Well, I was right! Just to be blunt, this one sucks. I'm giving it a confidence rating of 0, and if it does show up tomorrow, I'll do whatever the top comment says. Okay, last Mario rumor before we head into other franchises. Since July, a number of people have claimed that Mario Galaxy 2 is going to be getting a remaster. As far as I can tell, this was first reported on by Special Nick of the Xbox Era podcast, who got the information from the same source who revealed all of this to him. And since then, a handful of smaller accounts have corroborated this. But I've gotta say, even though I can't poke holes in the credibility here, I really don't think that a remake of Galaxy 2 is gonna happen. At least in the way that it's being presented. In my opinion, seeing a Super Mario Galaxy 2 box on store shelves would be pretty confusing given that there is no way to purchase Galaxy 1 anymore. I mean, the Wii is long dead and 3D All-Stars was a limited release. But I can't deny that there is clearly something here, so I think that if this did happen, it would likely be as a part of a re-release of 3D All-Stars for the 40th anniversary. They could even do it as a Switch 2 edition, $80 for the whole thing or $20 for people who already own the game. This would help combat ever-increasing prices of the original game and maybe quell some of the criticism Nintendo's limited releases draw by reframing it as a special anniversary deal. This price point would also make a ton of sense when you consider that all 3 original games and All-Stars would divvy out to around $20 a pop. In conclusion though, I know that there are a lot of people backing this rumor, but my gut is telling me that it's just not going to happen. I'm giving it a 35% on the leakometer. Moving from one Giga franchise to the next, Pokemon is not rumored to have much of a presence at the show. However, there is one idea that really took off yesterday. According to prominent Pokemon leaker Ku, who had a near-perfect track record of leaks for years up until the Indigo Disc DLC and the latest Pokemon Legends game, we can expect a new Pokemon spin-off to be announced tomorrow, and this idea really excites me. However, as I mentioned a moment ago, Ku is kind of a fallen legend. I remember people used to take his word as gospel, but now he's a pretty controversial figure, with some groups even kicking him out for allegedly making stuff up. I tend to avoid Pokemon leaks specifically because it rarely leads to the fun sort of discussion like we're having now. Most of the time, it's just like the entire dex plus shinies plus entries completely leaked months before the game comes out. But this is a special case, and one that I really want to come true. Unfortunately though, I can't in good faith say that a disgraced leaker is anywhere near credible. 20% certainty. And last, but certainly not least, we're ending right where we started, with Switchforce again and his 777 leak. You've likely heard about this already if you follow gaming leaks pretty closely, but he has been consistently updating this reveal as people make guesses. Switchforce said on Twitter that there will be 3 games that have to do with the number 7 shown off in this direct. But people have been left totally stumped as to which games he could be talking about, as he's deconfirmed 007, Soul Calibur, and Ace Attorney. If you were to ask me, I'd say that the 3 7s are Final Fantasy VII, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and Persona 7, because Atlus will release literally anything before Persona 6. I don't even really know where I would put this on the confidence rating though. Like, surely there will be 3 games vaguely related to the number 7 in an hour-long broadcast like this if you have enough confirmation bias. And because of that, I'm not putting it on the meter. And that concludes your brief overview of what leakers are saying to expect for tomorrow. I wanted to keep this video pretty short because I'm sick of seeing YouTubers talk about a single leak with no substance for like 20 minutes, and I'm sure you are too. I'll be streaming as soon as the broadcast starts, like right at 8 AM my time tomorrow, so make sure that you're watching for that. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching. She wants to tell you thanks again so much for watching too, apparently. And please remember, believe to achieve.